everybody. I just thought I'd show you today a short video on chair pose, the lovely chair pose which we try and make friends with every week. And it's renowned in yoga as being a bit of a sticky one really. But with time and practice, you know, it really does get easier to enjoy the pose, dare I say. And it's always the poses that we avoid or don't feel so strong in that perhaps we don't put quite so much effort in. And it really does help to try and compensate for that if we can just spend a little bit more time sort of understanding it and most of all practicing it really. So with chair pose, we remember all of our Utkatasana principles. So we're going to have big toes together and the heels can be slightly apart just to make it easier. And then remembering those Utkatasana principles, when we go into it, we tuck the tailbone under, which at first can seem quite challenging, but it's kind of training ourselves to get into good habits from the start. So if we can tuck the tailbone under, and maybe just here, not thinking about the arms, but just thinking from the toes upwards with the bottom half of our body. And ideally, theoretically, eventually our thighs are aiming to be parallel with the floor. But I'm certainly not there yet, and maybe in the next life, and it doesn't really matter. We're working towards something, and you know, if we don't get that goal, then you know, we shouldn't attach ourselves to it too much. So we are squeezing those thighs together, tucking that tailbone under, and then we're kind of leaning back on our heels more. And then aiming for the tummy to be sucked in, or even just starting to visualize this really helps. And then we're aiming for our ribs not to be stuck out, but kind of as our tummy gets sucked in, the ribs are kind of almost, you know, imagine them internally rotating inwards. And then relaxing the shoulders down. And often as the thighs become tired with the 3, 4, 5 breaths, that's when we're more inclined to lose the tailbone tuck-in. So at first, it might be easier to even do Utkatasana, as it's called in Sanskrit, or chair pose. You could have the feet apart, if that's better for your knees. And then you could actually just start here with your hands on your sacrum, the top part of your bottom, and just kind of hold there with your shoulders relaxed. And looking for the weight to be more on the backs of the feet really, because if your knees are going too far over your toes, then that's going to put more pressure on the ankles and on the knees. So at first we go in easy, but challenging ourselves just a little bit, and then just seeing how our body reacts to that sort of in the coming day. So maybe just bending slightly to start with. So tucking the tailbone under, sucking the tummy under, ribs kind of not sticking out too much. And then we can work towards inhaling the arms up, and they can be together at first if that's easier, and imagining those little fingers are rotating inwards towards each other, and then looking gently up but trying to keep the neck long. So you may want to be looking not quite towards the thumbs to keep that neck long. And most importantly, keep the breath going, breathing with sound, Ujjayi breathing, down the back of the heart. And standing up, pushing in the feet to stand up. So as with all the poses, the most important thing is just to practice little and often, really, maybe even a couple of times a week to start with. So good luck, and I hope you learn to make friends with this pose. Thank you for watching.